Welcome to your new home. This is the Players U Podcast. Bringing players together in business, sports, media, and entertainment. Players U. For the players, by the players. By the players. Let's do the damn thing. Here's your hosts, Carthorne and Tyson.
Tyson, what's going on, bro? How's everything been?
DC, man, everything's fluid and nice, man. I'm doing great. Nice warm weather as we approach this November. But you know, how you doing, man? How you been doing?
I'm good. You know, thick of football season, but had a chance. You know, Players U. We made a big move this week. Went ahead and grabbed them Denver Nuggets season tickets. You know, which was fun. Was able to go and catch my man, you know, the kid from Akron. LeBron James last week.
LeBron James.
Yeah. You know, it was a fun environment. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that. Like, I was talking to some people the other day, and they was just asking, like, you know, what's it like going to watch Bron at this point in his career? You know what I'm saying? And I know me and you have talked about the Lakers and expectations we got. Whenever you're on the floor, you got high expectations, right, for them to win. But they've been struggling, and the biggest takeaway I have is this: when it comes to LeBron, it's like at this point in his career, it's a show. You know what I'm saying? It's like a concert. You walking in, the buzz is going crazy. He bringing the city out. You know what I mean? He bringing everything out. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't normal that night. And then you get in and you watching him warm up and play, and it kind of hit me. Like, I feel like I understand LeBron in the NBA a little bit more watching him on the Lakers. From this standpoint, it's like it almost felt like I was watching Michael Jackson perform on the This Is It tour. This dude, he ain't trying to win, bro, but he putting on a show. It's like you watch him play, you know, he coming through, he walking with his swag. Any stoppage in play, this dude is walking to the other end of the court, letting people get pictures of him, talking to the crowd. You know, he come down, he throwing his little assists, dropping them off, and then, you know, the reason I say he like Mike, he basically like Mike. Instead of a microphone, he got a basketball. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the moonwalk, he giving you that patented one leg tomahawk. Like, that's really the difference, right? And anytime he does anything, crowd going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it's basically watching LeBron in a Jackson 5 and Anthony Davis is Janet. But that's my take on it, man. Like, I don't expect him to watching that and seeing it up close. I'm like, and being like somebody that's invested in it now, like being invested in the Nuggets, it's like, man, they're not really out there winning, bro. They're going to make the same money regardless. He on a world tour. He going to play against Denver, then he's going to travel to Minnesota and do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Every other night. And we're relying on these other members of the Jackson 5 to get us some wins. It's not going to happen. It just ain't it, man. What's your thoughts right now on the Lakers and what's going on, bro?
Man, it's like I said before, man, there's no shooting. You can't win and put together a team without shooting when LeBron James is on your team. He has to have shooting because he wants to drive and kick if he's able to, because he'd rather pass the ball than score at this point in time of his career, even though he stated that he has to be more aggressive. We just have not seen it at this time. And he's just not at that level no more. Let's just be honest. You know, I hope and wish that he would be at that level, but I'm sure he put his time in. He did his 20 years. He's in his 20th year, man. Already averaging 25 points a game still. But at the end of the day, when you don't have shooting, when you don't have the right cast members around you, and, you know, you can't win. And that's why they're 0-5 right now, because he can't take them to another level. That's over.
Yeah, he doesn't dominate the way he used to. And Anthony Davis he out there just walking up and down the court, man. You know, and he make it look easy too, because like you said, they both will put their numbers up, but they understand how to manipulate the game now statistically. LeBron got to be great for them to compete, man. This new NBA is different. The rules have changed a little bit.
Players are younger, a little faster.
Yeah, the game is a little bit faster, you know, and LeBron never really mastered that skill set, like to really just score the ball easily. You know what I mean? He's like one of them dudes that got to like set you up with the pass, open lane up, Then he can go to work, get a few fast break dunks. He only had one dunk that night. That's rare for LeBron. You know what I'm saying? He had one. You slow him down in transition, that's half the battle, to be honest.
And I think the other issue is too is like, man, they're playing great defense. That's the issue. Is like they're playing great defense, but they just cannot score the basketball.
They're playing great D. Yeah, I mean Russell Westbrook is going to be a big factor for them to be successful. He's going to have to play better, and they're going to have to put him in a position to play better. That give the ball to LeBron and everybody stand and watch, and he just throw it out for threes. That's not going to work. But anyway, man.
At all.
Yeah, man. Lastly, too, we talk about Justin Fields. I got to give Justin Fields some kudos too, man. He's been playing a lot better. I'm actually watching the Cowboys and Bears game, and they was down 28-7, and he made some good plays, brought them back at halftime. You know, I'll be able to catch the end of it later. But what's your thoughts on what they're doing over there?
I just want to say this, because Ohio State gets a bad rap on quarterbacks, and they were getting on him early, but he never had the assets or the offensive line. Still, he doesn't have the offensive line, but he's still getting it done. And I'll give kudos to him, man, for taking it upon himself to step up. He's doing a great job. I watched him against New England. I'm like, man, he tore New England up, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang. I was like, that's what I'm talking about, JF. And he's continuing to be great. Obviously, he's got to get better. He's got to get some more wins under his belt. But he's playing at a high level right now, and it's being seen. And it's finally we're getting some notarization that Ohio State quarterbacks will be okay in this future coming up.
I mean, the play calling has gotten better, I would say, in Chicago. You know, like watching some of the play calls that they've had is like they're opening up the field and letting them throw it down the field a little bit more. They're letting them run a little bit more. They're not just dinking dunking the whole time like they used to do at the end of the year. So I think they got a little bit more confidence in the defense is always making plays. They got a pretty good defense. We'll see. I mean, it's a division that's pretty tough. You know, when Aaron Rodgers.
But he's also, my bad, I'm gonna cut you off, but he's also making better reads. Remember before we were talking about his reads weren't as good.
Awful.
But also he is being more instinctive and being more creative outside when the pocket's collapsing. He's getting out the pocket a little faster and just running and doing what he does best. He's quick. Do what you do best.
Playmaker, man. He's doing well. So shout out to Justin Fields. But look, man, we got a pretty dope show, a pretty interesting show that we haven't been able to do yet and bring to y'all. And I think this is one of those shows that kind of like tells the story of what we're trying to do at Players U, which is always, educate players in sports, business, media, and entertainment, and just really, bring us together. You don't have to be a player in athletics. You can be a player in business.
Yes.
You can be a player in healthcare. You can be an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? You can be an athlete. Anywhere. We're all players in this thing called life. So I'm excited, Ren. I'll let you do your thing.
I'm definitely excited, man. This is my this guest we're bringing up today is a blood brother of mine, the younger brother of me. This is Corey Tyson, man. Corey William Howard Tyson. He's an Eastmore product for you Warrior fans out there. But this guy, man, let me tell you, this guy's a great guy. He's a hard worker. He after Eastmore, he went on to Miami of Ohio, got his degree there. And he's going to speak more about his bio, but I just want to say this, that Corey Tyson is a retirement income counselor with the Capital Group American Funds. He has 8 years of industry experience and joined Capital Group this previous year. But before joining Capital Group, Corey was a regional vice president, brokerage annuities, and before that, it was a hybrid annuity wholesaler. He was the number one wholesaler for the Nationwide company when he was with Nationwide. That's crazy.
Let's not overlook regional.
Yeah, let's not overlook that, man.
Regional vice president, man. Like them is titles that's hard to get. You know what I'm saying? So
hard to get, man.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ren, but like if you know anything about corporate America, when you get to that type of level, wherever you are, you get exposed to a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, and then number one regional annuity seller at Nationwide Financial. He also holds the Charter Financial Consultant designation, a huge designation, and he has his Series 6. So this man is highly qualified in the financial world and annuities and wholesaling and income and then retirement. So let's give it up for Corey William Howard Tyson, warrior, and a Red Hawk in the house too.
Yeah, the Red Hawks represent. Uh, hey, I appreciate it, man. Happy to be a part of the Players U podcast. I've been plugging into you guys, watching you do your thing. Just thankful just to be in rare air. Carthon, I remember you watching you hoop back in the day. Baller, baller alert as they say. I've been watching my brother for a long time and blessed to have an older brother who has his head on right, who has led our family for a while. So I didn't have to look around for examples of things or people or the right thing to do. I just had to look up a little bit to my bro, and so thank you for all you're doing. But yeah, let's get into it. What's up?
Let's get into this, man.
Let's dive.
We can say DC. Go ahead. I know he had some questions. He wanted to ask you some questions about this little bit of this NBA a little bit.
Yeah, before we get into the your story a little bit, let's talk about a couple current things. We just started off talking about the Lakers.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on what's going on over there with them 0-5 boys in LA, man?
Oh man, let me tell you this. It's one of the hardest things to watch because when you sit down at the TV, say you got your cold beverage and your snacks, the kids are in bed, you know what I mean, and you're ready to dig into this game, and they can't hit a shot. They literally cannot hit a shot, bro. And I'm sitting there like, please, and it's not Westbrook's fault. It's not LeBron's fault. Like it's the team construction. Like who put these guys together where we can't drive the ball, kick it out, and someone hit an wide open shot in the NBA. It blows my mind. It blows my mind, and it hurts my heart for LeBron because, although what I heard, Rennie, I agree. Like he's not where he was or where he used to be, but he still got 28 points in him a night. He still got 25 points in him. He could still contribute. He could be the third best player on your team. Like that's how I think how valuable he is. Like if he's the third best player on your team, I think you could go some places with that team. But I don't think he can be number one or number two right now, because I don't know if he has the win number one. But beyond that, I'm just surprised by the talent level in the team, and I can't believe that they were seriously considering this being a team that can compete with the best in the West, and I'm disgusted by that.
That's a great call out, man. You asked an interesting question. There's a couple things. You said who constructed this team. When are we going to start talking about Rob Pelinka?
Yes.
I know he got the coach. Shout out to Kobe, rest in peace to the GOAT, to me. But he got the Rob Pelinka got the Kobe connection. But at the same time, it's like this is a team that I think they did get better defensively. Yeah. But I don't think nobody wants to be honest and say what you just said. LeBron can't be your first or second best player and win a championship anymore.
Yeah.
And that sounds so crazy to say.
Right.
But in all actuality, if he's your second or third best player, you probably do win a chip. I mean, who's going to be able to match up with him? But we need Anthony Davis to be Anthony Davis. And he's a shell of himself right now.
And he's always hurt. That back injury. He just can't lower back injury right now, going through it.
And you can see the emotional side of it too, man, because the whole team be going, like the other game when he against Jokic, man, like he was holding his back and they had to stop the game, and that weighs on the team emotionally. And I know, we got to try to stay out the emotions, but it's a game of runs, So, I feel for AD. I don't want to talk bad about him because these are injuries. They're not like him not wanting to play, but it's tough. It's just tough.
Yeah. At that much money though, it's like, how much are you investing into your body? I mean, you got the most healthy and active player in the history of the NBA sitting next to you on a plane. It's like, you got to follow the blueprint at some point. LeBron is never hurt,
Yeah, and it's crazy because this is the 5th game, bruh.
5th. And he want to play every game this season.
You're right.
Like he had the whole offseason and everything was perfect, but then you get to the first game and you having lower back issues. I'm like, dang.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to the post he made in the summertime when he said, I don't know when this was. Like maybe it was, don't quote me, but maybe May, June, or July. He was like, I hadn't touched the ball all summer.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that?
Yeah, it's I remember that. They ate him up.
Yeah, and I get it. When you're a pro, you do take your significant time off, but it's like you ain't done nothing. Like you got to get ready for an 82 game season plus another, I don't know, 16 wins to win the NBA championship. That could be 16 to 30 games, whatever that might look like.
Yep.
So basically, you got to prepare yourself to play 100 games, man, plus preseason and practice. LeBron takes a few weeks off and gets right back to taking care of his body. You know what I mean? I just think a guy like AD, I'm not really sure. I don't want to question it because he's a great player, but I just not sure where he's focusing his time and money. You know what I'm saying? As far as being a long-term investment for the Lakers.
Right. I wonder.
But now let's move on right over to this NFL, man. This AFC North division clash. Now, this guy, hey, look at him. He got the who they.
Who they think they beat them Bengals, man?
He's a Bengals fan, man. Only one in the family that's a Bengals fan, bro.
Oh my God.
How you feeling about the Bengals this year, man? How you feeling about the Bengals this year, man?
Hey, I think, we still got a young coach. Our quarterback is coming off of that horrendous knee deal, but we also just went to the Super Bowl. So we're caught in that space of a lot of expectations, and we're kind of running underneath the expectations right now. Because what are we, 4-3? Soon to be 5-3 in the AFC. I think we are top 3 or top 4 week in, week out. Our offense is amazing. Our defense hasn't allowed a touchdown in the second half all year. So the Bengals are serious. Jamar Chase has a hip deal, so he's going to be out this Monday. But I do believe that we're going to have a chance to win the AFC North, and we will be in the playoff picture. It's all about how we come together in these last, in the last half of the year, because we definitely have to beat Baltimore, and we have to go back to Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers.
Let's not act like the Browns. Let's not act like the Browns ain't in the division now. We ain't gonna
you see how you went over the Browns like that?
Over the Browns like they ain't there.
And we play y'all tomorrow.
If Deshaun ain't playing, I don't believe in him. You know what I mean? Deshaun ain't playing, I don't believe in him.
Yeah, it's gonna take him time to get a rhythm going too.
Yeah, he's gonna have to massage his way into this. You know what I mean?
Oh goodness!
I need some oils to get him lubricated.
Come on, man. You stupid for that one.
Hey, man, that's a fact. We need to keep him away from the massage as much as possible, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is too funny, bro.
Tell him just to get on the bike, man. Just do regular stuff.
Right. That's too funny, man. Nah, them Bengals, man. When I watch them, I'm always just watching Joe Burrow. Like, are we looking at the next Aaron Rodgers type or what? You know what I'm saying? I think they kind of started off a little slow. But end of the day, they dangerous. I mean, even last year, nobody expected them to go to the Super Bowl based on the way they were playing in the regular season. And all you got to do is get in that tournament. You get in that tournament, man, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Bengals
got to be in the game.
Bengals are playing at a high level, man. And like you said, it's all about that quarterback, man. He's the engine.
Yeah.
And he has a damn arm on him, man. And he just can see everything.
Yeah, he's from that part of Ohio, down like Jackson, Cincinnati area, southeast Ohio, where you got to be a little tough. You got the heels right there. You're right on the edge of West Virginia. Went to Ohio State, didn't work out, didn't pout. Went to LSU, put up amazing numbers. Yep. Came into NFL, so we expect a lot out of him. And as long as he stays healthy, I think we got a good chance.
No, most definitely.
And y'all
Man.
protect them too, as y'all been doing now.
Yeah, we've been trying to a little better, but he's still getting hit too much. Still getting hit way too much.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Look, I want to transition a little bit into your life, Corey. You know, a lot of people might not understand who you are and what exactly you're doing. You're doing some great things out here. You know, kind of tell me your background. Right now, we know that you are working in annuities, retirement counselor. Let's talk about where you started, though. Right?
Yeah.
How did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, I appreciate it, mate. So, as my brother probably knows, I started at Eastmore Academy, home of Archie Griffin. You know, played a little football there. I went to Miami of Ohio, played football. Believe it or not, and I think I told you this before, Rennie, but I played with Sean McVay.
Oh, really?
So
You didn't never tell me that.
Sean was on. We actually are the same age. So Sean was also on the same team. He was a receiver. I was a receiver.
Wow.
It's big.
Yep. So we played football. After football, I got into law school at the University of Dayton. I went to UD Law. Decided that wasn't the right fit for me. Left law school and started a lawn care business. So when I told dad, he was like, "What?"
What are you doing with your life,
He
man?
said, "What is your problem, man? You're just gonna throw away your whole life?" And I didn't see it as throwing it away. I really enjoyed lawn care. Law school wasn't fun at all. We can talk offline about law school. I think there's a place for that if you want to go down that track. But yeah, left law school, started a business, grew that business to almost 100 residential lawns. I had 25 commercial clients, and as I was building that business, I got an opportunity through a friend of the family to get a job at Nationwide. And I think I had always had a little sales in my mind, in my thought process. I was an influencer in ways, like even in college, I tried to do some stuff. Like I started a student organization. You know, I tried to speak up on topics that affected individuals of color. I think I've had a lot of that in me already. So I got it in the ground floor. When you go into a company, and I was like 26 at the time, so I went in a lot older than a lot of the other individuals. So a lot of the people were getting in at 23, 22, some of my cohorts and colleagues. And I was just focused, man. I was like, listen, I came in here to get the best possible opportunity. I think I started out making like 40K a year, and I grinded up, got licensed up. And next thing you know, I owned the territory, and they gave me an opportunity. The territory they gave me was Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, and New Mexico. And I was able to have some really, really good results. And that catapulted me into actually going into a territory, physically being in a territory as a regional vice president. I had some stellar results where I even climbed up to number one in sales at Nationwide in the annuity area. And if anyone doesn't understand annuities, because I was wholesaling annuities at the time, annuity is, let's say you win the lottery, and once you win the lottery, you got two options. You could take the lump sum payout, or you can take the payout over your life. So individuals who have saved their whole lives and don't have a pension need a way to distribute those assets in retirement. And I used to help them with that. Basically, you give me a couple $100,000, I'll give you 5,000 a month for the rest of your life. That way you never run out of income, no matter what happens in the market, no matter what happens around. You're guaranteed to get that income. I have since moved on from Nationwide, and you can see the banner behind me, American Funds. We are a $2.2 trillion asset manager. We're a global player with 8,000 employees around the globe. I cover for American Funds the mutual fund distribution, and that's inside from, like, I guess, the central corridor of the United States, from Texas up to Minnesota and Wisconsin. So I'm on the road constantly and consistently talking to potential investors about investing with inside of our funds. Just so you know, I'm not here on an official capacity of American funds. I'm here on my personal capacity, and I'm going to talk from that vantage point. But I've learned a lot about our investments and our philosophy, so I will intertwine some of those investment philosophies inside of that. Uh, but most of this is going to be on my own accord, just so you know.
That's huge, man. I mean, there's so many things to unpack there, and there's a couple things I want to dive into annuities, but I want to make a statement too, and kind of take the conversation that way. Like you mentioned, you got started a little later at 26,
Yep.
right? And in an area where I'm real passionate is our professional athletes. You know, you have the guys that are making the money like LeBron, and then you have the guys that are overseas that are making just a solid income to support their families.
Yep.
And a lot of these guys that are athletes, even if you make it to the NBA or NFL, which I'm sure you probably got some guys, retired NFL athletes at your company right now.
Mm-hmm.
These guys get started in corporate America sometimes after 30,
Yeah.
sometimes 26, 27, 28. You know, let's talk about that process. Like, what was your mindset and some of your struggles, you know, when you were making that transition finally from like your lawn care business to nationwide?
It was, I looked at myself, and I think you got to look at yourself and say, what kind of experience do you want? What kind of resume do you want to put together? What do you want people to say about you behind closed doors? And I figured that I could do it from an organic entrepreneurial standpoint. So I figured that out about me. Like I could do that. Like I wasn't afraid of it. I was able to get it done. Then I was like, man, I need some big corporate experience. I need to be able to go into a company, matriculate up the ladder, and show that I can play that game too. And that was what it was about. And my mindset was just to go in and prove that I belong there, that I could perform at a level that would lend me some credibility in the space, but also get me paid.
Yeah.
People go into these corporate jobs to get paid consistently, and that's what I did, and that was my whole kind of purpose. So one thing you'll run into, Carthon, is that you know your friends might be like, man, you over there kissing up, or you a slave to the whatever, all
Yeah.
these little things that our friends may tease us about, or make jokes. But I didn't care. I was like, I'm gonna play the game, and there is a game to be played. You do have to show up and show out. Like one thing I used to do a lot, they had this thing called Tie It Up Tuesday. So everybody wore a tie on Tuesdays. I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna wear a suit on Tuesdays, but I'm also gonna dress up on Fridays. And on Fridays, I'm not gonna rush out the office. I'm actually gonna stay around and try to create some relationships with some folks who have to be there and have to be in the building. And that really worked to my advantage. So I did play the game, and I'm thankful that I did, because it paid off in 8 years. It paid off for sure.
That's huge. That's a great what you're saying right there. Question I had to ask for you is, you're in the space of relationships.
Yeah.
So you can't get a deal done on the first call. How long does it typically take? How long, what would you say typical? How many phone conversations do you have before a client is comfortable and able to say, Corey, you earned my business today?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I mean, I the number is seven. From most people, the number is 7 times. Like if you talk to a person 7 times, you should be able to get a sale out of it. And you think about it, the first conversation may be about, who we are, what you've been doing, what's going on. The second conversation may be about, hey, I noticed something in your portfolio. Do you want to talk about it? It may be an email next. It may be a text message next. So remember, it's just touches. So it's normally about 7 times. The longest I ever went, and this was for some large sales, I think I had one of the larger sales at Nationwide of $6 million inside of an annuity, and that took me a year and a half to get.
Wow.
And it was like a dog on a bone, right? You can't eat that whole bone in one sitting. So you're gonna gnaw at it a little bit and come back, gnaw at it a little bit and come back to it, leave, come back, that kind of deal. Hey, just checking in with you. Just want to make sure everything's good. I was thinking about this opportunity you got going. What about this idea? Have you ever thought about this? You're just trying to stay connected. Just like we're brothers. I check in on you every once in a while to say, hey man, what's going on in your life? What's happening?
Right.
And I'm sure you do the same thing with Carthon. Like, what's going on? What's going on in your life? It's a relationship. It's not fake or forced. It's fun. And I would put it like that.
Yeah.
Where did you learn that perseverance? Because some people, they might be like, man, before that 7 call, be like, all right, he ain't trying to get nothing from me. He's not gonna give me his business. I mean, where did that come from?
Yeah, man. Most they say that most salespeople, their biggest issue is not following it up. I think I had a really, really strong brother, father, and I played sports early in life, so there is some perseverance there. And I was always the bigger kid, so I was a kid like trying to make weight at 125, and I was like, "Forget it, Dad. Let me just go play non-weight. I just want to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of wearing these trash bags, and I'm tired of, the coach be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you a donut if you win." Like, dang, like that's where I'm at, a donut. But no, life, just being a middle child, being, a son of a dad who was successful, being a son of a mother who was successful, and then just playing sports, man. You got to persevere. Coaches always see different stuff, and I had to prove some stuff to coaches too. So yeah, I think that's where I got the perseverance from. Uh, I had an older brother always trying to beat up on me, man.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. How to get you right there, boys.
Yeah.
It's paying off, man. Look, I really want to speak to my current collegiate athletes and our professional athletes. What are some like good career paths? Like, how can guys look to get into sales at the level you're at, or just any company? Like, you're at the area where you maybe hire people. And what do you guys look for? And then what can guys do to put them in position to set themselves up to make 6 figures post sport? Because I'll tell you this, one of the things when I talk to my guys and my peers, like when I was overseas playing, we always like, man, I don't want to stop playing basketball. I don't want to go get a 9-to-5 job, because in our communities, 80% of probably professional basketball players are Black.
Yeah.
In our communities, it's like we never really seen people making more than like 50K, 60K at the time that you can touch. Now we know there's people out here touching 300, 400, 500, a million, but like within my immediate circle, your mom, like my mom, stopped working in 2008. You know what I'm saying? Due to different things, the last market crash we had. You know what I'm saying? And it was a reality for a lot of the people in my neighborhood. And we didn't realize the way we were living until I started playing professional basketball, seeing the world, making my own money. So like what can guys do to separate themselves, to get into like high level sales, and then what do you guys look for at that level?
Yeah, those are 2 good questions. I mean, I think the first question being, what do we kind of look for, or how do you get into it? I would say that number 1, you want to be a good communicator in some way. Either you communicate well through passion or excitement, or you just communicate well complex ideas and thoughts. Notice this as you're coaching kids, and I do this time and time again with my daughters. Like, you have to be able to communicate, like yes, no, um, using the correct verbiage, making sure you mean what you say what you mean, kind of deal. So I think communication is the biggest deal. So both verbally and then written, because a lot of times you have to write emails and they're short and to the point. So you want to make sure that you know how to form a sentence, punctuation, simple stuff like that. Because what happens is people get those emails quickly and they read them quickly, but if they don't make sense, they'll stop reading your emails. If they can't gather what you're trying to say, they're not going to pick up the phone and call you. The fast-paced business. So communication, both written and verbally. If you have good communication skills, you can sell. Um, and then I think another way to get in the sales business um, is start at the bottom. You know, start start with an MLM. I sold Amway for a bunch of years. That was fun. Um, Start at a entry level role and see where the opportunities are to climb up. That's what I did. I came in as a sales and service rep, so I was taking customer service calls, and I just kept showing them ways in which I could sell on the phone. Then they gave me opportunity to sell virtually like we're doing right now, and then they gave me opportunity to sell in person. I remember one of my first trips. I was in North Dakota, man, and I was with, you remember Al, you probably, Al Sorchetti.
Yeah.
He's in Philly now, so I know he's happy about the Phillies. But we're sitting in the advisor's office, and I just start sweating, sweating profusely. I'm just like, man, I'm trying to pitch this guy on some stuff, and Al looks at me and says, "Dang, man, you're sweating hard." I'm like, "Bro, just relax. I'm trying to get this through." So, you know, start at the bottom, man. We can't. I think a lot of times what we think, and especially as athletes, we played at such a high level and been so good at a craft for so long. We almost think those attributes and activities that we did and skills that we've grown automatically puts us at a specific level, like a regional vice president. And that's just not the case, right?
Mhm.
If you were to switch sports and go into a new arena, you would have to start at the bottom and learn it all the way up. So that's a part of it. And although sales is easy, a lot of people think it's like, let's just talk. There is some nuances. There are some things you have to learn just about, hey, when I go into an advisor's office, maybe I should notice the pictures on their desk. Maybe I should set them at ease and make them comfortable with me and who I am, right? And then maybe get into some business conversation. But maybe I shouldn't give them everything I got in one combo. You know what I mean? Maybe I should
Yeah,
take it slow and build up to it. Or maybe, what kind of personality is this guy? So there's a lot of factors that speak to you being a good salesperson. And there's a lot of ways to get in it. But normally, if you have a commitment to be a high level athlete, you can also be a high level salesperson, if you are willing to have similar commitment.
absolutely. That's a good call out. I mean, it's some great things. You mentioned touches. I think about sports, right? In order to score, you got to touch the ball.
Yep.
So how many touches can I get? And touches don't always got to mean the play is tailor made, set up for you, right? All right, how many deflections you gonna get? How many rebounds you gonna get? How many steals you gonna get? And it's the same thing in sales, right? It's
Yep.
like you might get a account or a territory that's not tailor made for success. Maybe the last rep had it, couldn't get the job done. So now it's like, man, how many touches can I go and get in different ways? You know what I'm saying? And then like eventually you get 20 touches, you should have some points on the board. Are you in the wrong business? And that's essentially what happens sometimes with guys. I want to talk about annuities, man, because I think
Yep.
taking care of your finances is very important, and it is not a conversation that I was having at the dinner table while growing up. Even in our relationships, we are scared to talk about that sometimes. And they say divorces happen like 50% of the time in the United States. And majority of those divorces are because of finances. So where can guys start? Like, what are annuities? And let's kind of break that down a little bit more for our athletes that may not know.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just be more specific. An annuity, and most people who are going to buy an annuity either have a large sum of money. Let's say you got a big contract, $50 million, and you want to take part of that and ensure that you never run out of cash.
Mm,
So, very wealthy person, maybe younger in life, wants an income stream they can never outlive. So that may be some of our NBA, NFL, soccer,
Baseball.
whatever, baseball. They may buy some of these annuities early in life,
mm,
but the more often than not, this person's going to be about 50 years old and older. They're going to have accumulated a bunch of assets over a period of time. And what happens is there used to be a lot of pensions available. Like, remember grandpa or my grandfather, they called him RJ, but our grandfather, he worked at GM for 30 plus years. And at the end of working at GM, he had a pot of cash, but he also had a payout from GM that he
Right.
would get for his life. And then it actually passed on to his wife. So now that's no longer really available in this marketplace. So there are no more pensions because they're very expensive for companies to provide.
Mm-hmm.
So what the company did and said, hey, we're going to give you the opportunity to save money in a 401k. You can save outside of a 401k in an IRA or just a traditional individual brokerage account where you can save money. And then at the end of your 35 years of working, you'll be like, okay, I got X amount of dollars, and you can put some in an annuity to get an income stream, or not. But basically, all an annuity is a tax deferred vehicle that grows your money, but can also distribute income on a guaranteed basis. The only guarantee in the investment world. So that's how you see an annuity. And can I share my screen by any chance?
Yeah. Do you have control to be able to share it?
It says present.
Go ahead and see if that works.
Okay, let me see if it worked. Share screen. So I did this I was at the University of Oklahoma not too long ago. Can you guys see this document up?
We cannot.
No, you cannot.
Let me see if I can
Maybe
allow you. There we go. I got you.
okay.
There we
There you
go.
go. So think of investing like this. So I'm 36 years old. I have 35 years left of probably working.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people may not want to work till 70 or 72 or whatever. So let's assume a 10% rate of return. So this is what we're trying to do with your money. This is why you want to invest. So let's say we can get you a 10% return. The market's probably averaged 14% over its inception, but let's assume 10%. The rule of 72 says if you divide this 10% by 72, your money will double in 7.2 years.
Wow.
If this rate of return was 14, it will double in 5 years. So that means every 5 years your money would double. So let's take 72 divided by 10, 7.2 years. So let's say in this first 7.2 years you put $10,000 in the market. That 10,000 should go to 20. Next year you got that $20,000 in the market. That 20 should go to 40. So now we're at what? 14 years?
Yeah.
That 40 should go to 80 in that third set. So really what you're trying to do here is you're hoping that you should try to add $20,000 in this, and here you should try to add $40,000 here. So really this becomes now 60. Now this 80 is 120, right? Because at a certain point, it's going to be hard for you to save $160,000, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, your money is working harder for you than you can potentially even work for yourself. Because this 160 is going to 320. So you're hoping to get this double quicker if you put in more here. And that's what I tried to do. And that's how I left Nationwide with almost $250,000 saved, because in my early years, when I could double down on my 10, double down on my 20, double down on my 40, now my almost 200,000 bucks is going to go to 4 very easily, and so on and so forth. So again, and this is assuming a 10% rate of return. If we do more, then obviously you'll make more early on. And then if we looked at that 320, I mean that gets really fun, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is great stuff.
So I just wanted to kind of share that, and I tried to teach this when I was at the university with some students not too long ago, is that this is what we're trying to do. You got to get invested. Don't look at the headlines. Don't worry about which company should I buy? Go out and buy a mutual fund, which is a package full of companies, right? A packaged investment full of companies that could be anywhere from 40 to 200 companies in one mutual fund. And that way you're broadly diversified and you don't have to worry about being in one stock or one specific security. If you're unsure about investing, if you're more of a more savvy investor where you're actually doing some research and take some chances, investing on some companies, Amazon, Facebook, or Meta, Google, these large companies out there that are Chevron, um, that have the ability to grow your dollars is important. So
That's huge. What's your thoughts on mutual funds versus ETFs?
yeah, so I actually have both investments in my portfolio. ETFs are very transparent and they trade like single stocks.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really good for non-qualified or non-taxable money. And what I mean is that the money that's already been taxed. So they pay you your check, they take the taxes out, the money that's in your bank account are really good options for ETFs because every day you're going to get a price. Um, Mutual funds, I like mutual funds, especially for tax deferred vehicles like IRAs, but also mutual funds are just good opportunities for diversified growth.
Mm.
So both you can have both, right? So it's not one or the other. It's just about what you're trying to accomplish. Understand that, mutual funds also kind of have those dividend distributions, which you'll pay tax on in the year that it's distributed.
Nice. No,
Yeah.
that's amazing stuff, man. I appreciate you for sharing that screen. That's huge right there. This is a conversation that just needs to happen a lot more. For guys to not feel discouraged, like how can you start here, right? Let's just say you're somebody that makes $100,000 a year. You're in corporate America, or you're making $80,000 a year.
Yep.
How do you get started as you're not a high net worth individual, but you're
Getting there.
30 years old, you're working corporate, you got some room to continue to grow, or you're 40 years old and you're looking to think about what the next 30 years might look like, and you have a good corporate job. How do you start there?
Yep. I think the number one thing you want to do, does your company have a 401k? If they have a 401k, do they match? If they match, at least invest up to the match. So usually it's 6%. So they'll match up to six. So at least invest 6% of your income in the 401k because they match it. So that's 12% that you're getting in the 401k. And then the second thing I would do would be I would look at my income and I would say, okay, out of everything, I want to invest at least 20% of my gross income in either a savings account, a mutual fund, some sort of investment opportunity. And you always want to keep a little bit of cash in the bank. So I think the first thing is always look at that 401k, take advantage of the match. Number two, you want to look at all the money you're making from a gross standpoint, at least take 20%, hold it back, put some in investment, some in the bank, and then you also already have your 401k cooking there. And I use that 401k as a part of that percentage also.
Yeah, for sure. I think for our athletes that are dealing in the cash business, some of them, especially overseas, to have lump sums of money. That game you just gave about getting into a mutual fund at the numbers vary, right? The rate of return, but 10%, 10,000, 20,000, and letting that money compound over 7 years, 14 years, man, that's huge. And
it is.
Me and Tyson were just talking, me and Rennie were talking about this before. And I think one of the things that's kind of scary for our community is like a lot of us growing up didn't think they would live past 30 and 40. So to say, I'm going to invest for the next 20 years, like how do you get past that psychology as an investor, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like the problem is a lot of us come, like you said, a lot of us come from communities where we're surviving, where there wasn't a lot of thriving, even in like if I drive, I'm in St. Louis, if I drive through the north part of St. Louis, you just like, man, like, why does it look like this?
Yeah.
You know, why are our facilities and buildings and streets and people feel so downtrodden in a sense? So I think the first thing you got to think about is where you're going and where you want to go. And I think that's helped a lot of individuals that I've met and, been groups, teams, individuals I've been a part of press forward to a higher place in life, a higher calling in life, to do even better in life. Is just think, hey, I want to have this when I get a certain age. I want to be here when I get to a certain place. I don't want to be what I used to be. I want to be more of what I could be, or I want to reinvent myself in a sense, to be a person different than the circumstances I came from. So I think it's really about your vision for who you want to be and what you want out of life. And then, like anything in life, you got to go after it. You got to go after it. You can't let friends, family, individuals who don't have your best interest in heart keep you in a place where you don't see yourself ultimately.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Right
Nice.
in 2022, I don't know if everybody here's following the markets, but I'm somebody that follows the markets daily. I'm reading the pre-markets. I'm looking at the Nikkei. I'm looking at everything before things
Yep.
open up. A lot of times when we see red on that screen, that's what scares us. We're going into a high interest rate environment, a tightening environment. It's no longer easing available to us.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts personally on where the economy is going in 2023 and when is a good time to start investing?
Yeah. Remember, all you have is today. All you have is
Mhm,
now. When's the best time to start working out? Now, today.
mhm,
When's the best time to stop the bad habit? Now, today. When's the best time to do anything? It's always right now. And, I got to help my daughters through this concept too. When's the best time to do what daddy asked you to do? Right now. But no, I get it, man. We're emotional folks. Like, it's like if you see a building burning, there's nothing inside of you that says run inside unless you're a firefighter, right?
right.
If you see someone in a gun battle, there's nothing inside of you that says let me go and step in the middle of them in that specific battle. So it's kind of counterintuitive to say when the market is red, when everything is down, you need to put more money in it. But remember the example we just talked about. All If you're a long-term investor, you don't care about what's happening right now. You care about what's happening when in 30 years from now. So if you don't
Mhm,
care about what's happening right now, then you can be more comfortable. You can relax because really it's not about now, it's about what happens in the future, and understand that mark volatility is what we call it. Volatility, the up and
mhm,
down of the market is volatility. It's natural and necessary. It's a part of the market. It is how we make money. So what happens is the market every so often goes through these cycles that it corrects itself. So that's why it's all the way red right now. And that's why you want to dump as much money as you can in at the bottom. Why? Because that 10% return we talked about, because the market is down 30%, you could get a 40% return in 1 year. That
mhm,
40% return may take your 7.7 year double to 5 years. If your money doubles in 5 years, that means you got 30 more years, which is what? Three or four more opportunities for doubles in those 30 more years. So think of it like that. When things are down, you're getting it cheaper also. That means that company is cheaper. It has the same profitability prospects, but it's a cheaper opportunity for you.
mhm.
And I don't know about you, but I grew up in a house where my mom loves sales, and
All the time.
she's gonna hit Schottenstein,
All the time. You're right.
hit them spots and get them sales. And that's what we got to see it as, an opportunity to get something on sale. So we're not worried about right now. We're really worried about the long term, and we got to be more long term focused. And I know that isn't as attractive as, oh, I made $1 million in one day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As somebody that invests and also short term trade, you mentioned volatility. That is important. It's the scariest thing in the market when you don't really understand it, but it's necessary, especially for traders. If we don't have volatility, we can't make any money, like we want to. So, do you do quite a bit of, or do you do some short term investing when it comes to the stock market?
I do. I buy individual stocks. I don't trade them though, like a
Mhm.
day trader. I have some friends who day trade, but I buy individual stocks on just thoughts I have. Like I have maybe a portfolio of about 20 companies that I've been buying, but as they hit red, I buy in more. So
Mm.
I'm consistently looking, on a weekly basis. Okay, where are they at? Where did I buy in at? And if I can get them, if I can get more shares for cheaper, I'll buy more because I believe in these specific companies. So I'm not doing a lot of like short-term trading companies back and forth, but on the short term, I am buying, small amounts of like maybe one or two, three shares
Mm.
of companies on a weekly basis of companies I believe will be doing better down the road.
Nice. How long do you look to hold on those? Like in your mind? Because I think this is just a great topic because we don't understand the nuances of the market. Like we talked about holding for 30 years, but what is short term to Corey? On these
Short
individual
term to
stocks.
me is a year, you
Okay.
know, is a year, and long term is 10 years.
Mm.
So, so short term, like I've been holding them right now for about 3 years. Most of these companies.
Nice.
Uh, when I get to 5 years, if these companies that I've chosen still haven't turned a profit, I'm gonna probably sell out and find other opportunities or invest in the companies that have been profitable.
Mm.
Um, so so I'm at three. We'll get to five and look. So I guess that's probably medium term to most folks. But again, I'm not doing this for individuals. I'm just doing it for me, myself. And this is just kind of extra money that I'm just trying to see, okay, how does it feel to buy a stock, an individual stock? What does it feel like for that stock to go down? What does it feel like for it to go up? So I'm trying to get my emotions in check about actual individual securities going up and down or individual companies going up and down. Um, because I think I'm gonna make some bigger bets down the road.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. I just had to ask this one question because I know previously, after Nationwide, you had a few companies coming after you. What was it about Capital Group, the American funds, that drew you to them and wanted you to be a part of that team?
Yeah, man. You're right. It was something about American funds because I did get a lot of suitors. I think the biggest thing that drew me is the way they manage money at American funds. And so just so you know, in the mutual fund world, there's usually a star manager. Just like football, basketball, there's a star player on the team. And that guy tells everyone how they want the investment to go. At Capital, we don't have the star manager. We manage money in teams.
Mm.
So let's say one of our biggest funds is $200 billion, right? So they break up that fund of 200. Let's say we have 200 securities. They break up that fund in that 200 securities in teams. So let's say we have 14 portfolio managers. So they would just divide the 200 companies by 14. And what is that? Let's see. Let me just do that math. So let's say everyone has 14 companies. So each one of those individuals are responsible for those 14 companies and creating 14 new opportunities on top of it, as opposed to one person being responsible for the full 200 companies. So we manage money in a team atmosphere. We're privately held, and if you look at our results against our peers and benchmark indexes at the 8-year and 10-year time frames, we're number one, and that's important
Wow.
because if I'm telling people to invest for the long term, we got to be able to put out results that say that's a good idea. And we've done it for 90 years. So we go all the way
Yeah.
back to the Great Depression. Our first fund was issued in 1931. So we've seen a bunch of cycles. We've seen a bunch of governments. We've seen a bunch of things over that 90-year period. And I was drawn to it. I was really drawn to that team atmosphere, that collegial type environment made me feel like this was a great company, great place to be. And so far, so good.
Wow. 90 years. You said first index was 1931.
Yeah, First Mutual Fund was
Mutual.
Investment Company of America in 1931. Yeah.
Wow. You see that, people? He's
That,
a part of the organization, a team that has been in business since 1931. So they know how to do a little something.
Yeah. So they seen
yeah.
everything. They see the civil rights era, everything.
Yeah. I mean, that era, you mentioned two things: the Great Depression and the Civil Rights era. It's like these market crashes and then these things that we go through culturally as Black people has a lot of times scared us away from this information and these things. And then there's obviously lots of things that have happened in our history that have taken wealth from us. But the thing I love about the stock market personally is like I don't have to, if I understand the skill set, develop my skill set, really study the business, learn the language, I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to deal with no racism for the most part directly. I don't have to deal with somebody I don't like if I don't want to. And with high frequency trading, access to it at your fingertips and computer nowadays, if you really learn this game, it's another way of funding. You know what I'm saying? It's another way of funding your lifestyle. It's another way of funding your life. And, we have historically been blocked out of loans. We've been redlined when it comes to credit, even though they say we're not, but we know what it is if you in this game. But the stock market and investing and just in general is a way to kind of like combat that, right? If we put ourselves in a position where we making money consistently on a job or have a business. I really just challenge our athletes, man, and just our young college kids, like open up brokerage accounts. You know what I'm saying? Get an IRA, invest into the 401k, even if that's all you can do. Or if you can't do anything with money, find a way to educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's books. I don't really like going to YouTube because it's a lot of misinformation. But I know this generation loves YouTube, but I say pick up some books. You know what I'm saying? Pick up some books and read them. Corey, I do want to ask, how would somebody go about getting their Series 6 license? Like, what's that process to even go there?
Yeah, they're trying to make it actually a little easier to get these license. Um, the hard part about my business is there's a barrier to entry, meaning that you got to take an exam, a test, something before you're able to start selling securities or stocks, bonds, mutual funds to the public. Um, the best way to do it is number one, go take the SIE. And I can't remember what the SIE stands for, but it's basically an exam that the pre-exam to getting your Series 6. And once you get that SIE, what will happen is companies will look at you and say, okay, well, this person's already taken the initiative to go get that first piece of the securities exam. We'll sponsor them on the second piece to get them their Series 6. Then there's, the 63, 65, Series 7. There's a bunch of other things that you can parlay into, but that Series 6 gets you in the door and gets you going and gets you the ability to sell But first thing I would do is go see how you could complete the SIE exam, and then from there join a company, and they'll sponsor you to get the Series 6.
That's great information, great insight. I mean, I've always heard about the Series 6, Series 7, but nobody ever says this is how you go do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's just like when guys are like, man, I see a guy that plays basketball overseas, but it's like, how do you get there?
Yeah, how do you do it? Yeah.
That's one of the questions I always get. It's like, you know, how do you learn? How do you go and play basketball overseas? What is that like? What's that process? It's the same thing. It's all information, right? And a lot of times this information is not, you know, like put into our society. You know what I'm saying, at a fast rate. But yeah, man, Corey, I really want to know, like, where can guys find you? Like, if they want to get in touch with you, in touch with American Funds or whatever, like just yourself, you know, how can they reach you?
Yeah, reach out to me anytime. Like I said, I cover a territory, so anything that moves or shakes from Texas up to Minnesota, Wisconsin, I'm all over it. But I'm on LinkedIn. It's Corey Tyson, Capital Group, home of the American Funds. My email is ctys85@yahoo.com. Hit me up via email. Go on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, I'm not on social media, partly because of my securities license. I don't want, they're always watching me, so I got to make sure. I got to make sure everything's on the up and up. But feel free to email me. I love to talk to people about different topics and ideas. Then if you're looking for someone to help you invest, I can share from an educational standpoint what I've done and what I'm doing and how to do it. Then I can also connect you with individuals where you're at in your specific locations that can help you personally look over your financial plan, look over some of the ideas you want for your future. And just keep in mind, man, this one thing I say at the end of every presentation I give is the world don't end all that often. It don't.
Yeah.
So if you think this is the last day or the last time, unfortunately, I think you're wrong. And we will continue to move forward in life no matter what's going on. So why not invest? Why not invest for that future?
Yeah, man, that's a great.
That's dope.
Yep. Yeah, man. We always are afraid that the market gonna crash and never recover, right? Always. People don't know. They're gonna turn them circuit breakers on at some point.
Yep. Got to, man.
It's all about the information and language, and a lot of people don't know, man. I mean, look at COVID in 2020. Circuit got hit at a certain level. They ain't let it stop, but easing is gone. So I'm interested to see where that bottom truly is.
Yeah, that's wild.
To be honest.
But man, bro, we truly appreciate your time, man, and this great information.
No, thank you guys.
Giving out today has really been helpful for not only for us, but hopefully for you all out there that's watching us on YouTube and also social media. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I mean, leave a comment for us. Get in touch with Corey. He's really can help you out if you're in the area, and he has people that can help you out. But please remember this: don't let anyone rent a space in your head unless they're a good tenant.
Right?
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Yeah, this was powerful. I appreciate the presentation. Thanks for making the time. Look, check us out. This episode will be coming out here soon on Sundays. We typically release at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So really be on the lookout for this. I'm excited. So follow us at Players U Media, Instagram, Twitter, Players U Media Group LLC on Facebook. More to come. Peace.
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 You've been listening to the Players U podcast. For the players, by the players. Carthorne is an ex-overseas pro basketball player and manager. And Tyson is a trainer, coach, and sports management league developer. So you might say they're qualified to talk about it. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at Players U Media. That's Players, the letter U, Media. Y'all be cool. See you next time.